All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Next Possession Sports Podcast. What's going on, man?
I'm tired. Man, my job got us out here in the heat, boy. He beat me up.
Whew. I'm not jealous at all.
I bet.
Working from home in the AC, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, we're back with the NFC West. Last division we covered, not last episode. The last division we covered was the AFC West, the Super Bowl champs, and we've been doing the AFC and NFC of the same kind of division, and so now we go to the NFC West where the Super Bowl runner-ups come out of. The San Francisco 49ers, and we'll definitely get to them. But, we start worst to first, and that starts with the Arizona Cardinals. And
AZ.
We know that they had the still in the still of the offseason.
Sorry, they actually had two.
Yeah, they definitely had two. They definitely had two, and that's a point. But, one in off season and then one in the draft.
All right, let's start with the first deal they had.
Yeah.
So they got away with
highway robbery.
Man, I don't even know it's highway robbery.
Taking candy from a baby.
That's literally what it was like, man. The Texans needed GM, but they just went there. We talked about it before. I don't know what deal Bill Bryant thought he was getting, but this ain't it, man.
Yeah. So what we're talking about, the Cardinals were able to trade for, and in my personal opinion, for the last few years, the best wide receiver in the NFL. I think obviously, if he's not top one, he's definitely top three on basically everybody's list, and that's DeAndre Hopkins.
If he's not one, he's 1A.
Yes, exactly. I feel like you had the top three for the past couple of years being him, Julio, and Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown not being in the league anymore. We'll see if he comes back. And Mike Thomas nicely sliding kind of into that spot, but Hopkins has remained there, and I think it took a while for people to kind of get on his bandwagon. But he's made a name for himself with bad quarterback play to finally having a good quarterback last year. And now he's going to go into a system where, they have a coach who's looking to open it up and looking to throw the rock. And they have a very impressive young quarterback in Kyler Murray, who's going to go into his sophomore season. And what better way to avoid any kind of sophomore slump than by getting the best wide receiver in the NFL on your team, and doing so without giving up a first-round draft pick.
I was looking one day. I think over DeAndre Hopkins' career, he's had like 16 different starting quarterbacks, and still has never fell less than 1,000 yards. And I mean, granted, like to me, Julio Jones is probably the best talent-wise in the league. But as far as production, it is extremely hard to argue anybody other than DeAndre Hopkins. And you and I are nowhere near a Texans fan.
No, not at all.
It's completely unbiased.
Not at all.
So yeah, it's really hard to argue that. But yeah, you got Larry Fitzgerald today. I mean, I know he up there, but it's still like DeAndre Hopkins can go and learn from Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that he will be able to teach any wide receiver coming up because of his wealth of knowledge, how long he's been in the NFL, and just his football IQ. He's going to be able to help out a lot of people. And then you also have Christian Kirk, who they drafted 2 seasons ago. He'll be going into his third year. He unlike a lot of standout sophomore receivers last year, did not crack that 1,000-yard mark, and he's still waiting for that season. And I really think that this season could be it, especially bringing in somebody like Hopkins on that team and then to add in, the run game they were able to get with Kenyon Drake last year. If that can continue. And so now you have you have the run game. You have a top wide receiver that they can't crowd the box even if they wanted to. So Kenyon Drake is going to get wide open, lanes to kind of run. And then you have a developing receiver in Christian Kirk. You got Andy Isabella who they drafted last year, which I thought was a little bit of a reach, but for him to be a number 4 in this system is going to do a lot for him also. So there's, like I said, there's going to be a lot that Cliff Kingsbury is going to be able to do with this offense.
And don't forget, there was a receiver they lost last year in the preseason who I really like, Hakeem Butler.
Yes.
Now he struggled with some drafts in college, but that dude still can ball, and he's the tallest receiver they have, man. He can go up there and get it. So and not only having Hopkins and having Fitz there, you still got a progression plan with Isabella, Kirk, and Butler.
Man, you know what? And I completely forgot about Hakeem Butler. Kind of that quick. The season kind of moves very fast. But out of Iowa State, was a very he's a tall wide receiver. He's 6'5". So like they got a lot, like you said, that they can do, and yet to be also able to add him in that mix. Like
they call him LeBron in college. When he was in college, everybody called him LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then now to me, one thing I really like before we get to the other still, since we're on the offensive side of the ball, one thing I like that they did was bolster their offensive line. But they got a great value pick in Josh Jones in the second round, who some thought would go first round.
I think they got him in the third round.
That is right.
Because they traded their third round. They've traded their second round pick.
Second round pick. Yeah.
So to get like you said, arguably a first round offensive lineman, a tackle at that in the third round.
In the third round was great value. So that was I really like, because that was just the one. I don't know how Kenyon Drake ran the ball last season with that line they had. I don't know how he did that. I mean, Kyler Murray was always running for his life, and he's fast enough to do so. But I think that was a very good pickup.
No, definitely.
So let's get to the second still. I don't know how you still in the top 10, but this happened.
Yes.
Isaiah Simmons.
My favorite player entering the draft.
He was, as far as all around, he was the best player in the draft.
Right. That's how I had him rated. I think, unfortunately, we talked about this when we kind of talked about the Carolina Panthers and we reviewed the NFC South, but I think a lot of teams feared his versatility. And unfortunately, you have a lot of coaches that can't think outside the box. They're very set in their ways. And, you would think you get a player this versatile that you would have a defensive coordinator kind of foaming at the mouth to be able to utilize all of his skill sets in different facets throughout the defense. But unfortunately, it's like, a lot of our defensive coordinators, I feel like in the NFL, are old. They're set in their ways, and to them, if they don't feel like you fit one position, sometimes they don't know if you fit any position. And I think that's why somebody who should have been drafted very, very high, was still a top 10 pick, but like you said, falls to number 8. And when his career is all said and done, those I was 5 of those 17s ahead of him, that didn't need the quarterback, are going to look back at this pick and ask themselves why. You might see in a couple years a couple GMs get fired because they did not make this pick. Giants, I'm looking at you. Carolina, I'm looking at you. He can play the safety. He can play linebacker. He lined up at cornerback, both slot and
corner. Yeah.
So he can play everything. And in the NFL of today, where it's a very pass happy league. You gotta be able to cover. You have these tight ends who are matchup nightmares, who are too big for a cornerback, but too but too quick for a safety or a linebacker. Here's a guy that comes in and can kind of eliminate those matchup nightmares for you.
Mm-hmm. And to stay on him, I also like, because you can lose him in multiple fashions, that of course they picked up Jordan Hicks last year, who finally played an entire season, who's always been good. And they also added Devondre Campbell. So that frees him up to do other things too, because Devondre Campbell was a very good coverage linebacker. So you can put Simmons back in safety, you can put him slot corner, wherever. I mean, even just put him back there with Budda Baker. That's a crazy tandem on the back end of the defense.
Right.
And then, so I think that's really good. Another pickup they had that I like was Jordan Phillips. He got him out of Buffalo, and he balled out last year.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody to stop that middle and have them just have the linebackers just flying around. Because now, granted, the rest of the division, the Rams and Seattle, you ain't really got to worry about too many tight ends. I mean, Greg Olsen, sure, but he's getting up there. But Isaiah Simmons was a George Kittle pick. They probably picked him to like, hey, look, man, we got to do something for this guy. We need you for him.
But also, and I think I compared him to this player before, but I look at him as a little bit of a bigger built Tyrann Mathieu. Someone that can kind of play more positions. That could obviously maybe someone like a Derwin James who from the Chargers, but the Cardinals were the team that actually drafted Tyrann Mathieu. And who was able to come up under his LSU brother Patrick Peterson while he was there, and they saw how they would be able to use him kind of all over the field, and you see how Tyrann Mathieu has been able to go to Houston and be an immediate impact, go to Kansas City and be an immediate impact where they have no other DBs around, but he's yet somehow always around making plays and kind of covering holes of their defense. And this is another one of those guys. Not to mention, on top of that, he got 8 sacks last year. So now they kind of have him slotted as like the weak side linebacker and in their 3-4, which means he'd be opposite of Jamie Collins. So
I mean Chandler Jones.
I'm sorry, Chandler Jones. Yes, not Jamie Collins. Chandler Jones. Similar build. They play the same. But he'll be opposite of Chandler Jones if they're going to have him in the box, especially on early downs. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what kind of impact he has out of the gate. But I think over his career, he's going to be somebody that teams are going to want to try to find the next one like this because it allows you to kind of be in a base in your base defense the entire game, because he can move from linebacker to safety or nickel cornerback. It's just really just shifting him to that position as opposed to bringing somebody off the bench who doesn't do that job as well. Yeah, and if you think about it, right, because you have 3 linebackers in, and so they might have him roaming the field kind of like the Steelers have Troy Polamalu roaming the field. Right. And so to have three linebackers on the field at all times, I mean, of course, and then you got someone like he beat Travis Etienne in the foot race, and we see how Travis Etienne flies around the field for Clemson, and so like this. God, they did so much for their defense. And I mean, and they don't have of course, they got Patrick Peterson who still does his thing, and they should give him for a full 16 games this year. He missed 6 games last year with he was suspended. And then they got Byron Murphy, who I like coming out of college. Then they got Budda Baker on the back end. So they probably gonna have him rolling around like every play he in different positions. Then you still got Chandler Jones. Then he had 16 sacks last year. Somewhere up there.
Yeah, so I like this one. I like their. I don't know, because last year I was real confused by everything they did. This year, it's making more sense.
No, like I said, absolutely, it's starting to come together, and we wasn't sure if we would even see another year of Larry Fitzgerald, but for him to still be on the roster, to see the kind of year that Kyler Murray had, yeah, and like I said, they got better. They got better on defense. I don't know. I like it. I like what they were able to kind of do. It's it's small steps, but they'll be able to build upon that. And and one off season to kind of get I was gonna say 2 cornerstones, but really 3 if you count Josh Jones. A starting tackle, and that you could probably rely on for the foreseeable future. a franchise type defensive player and the best wide receiver in the game. To get all that in one offseason is setting yourself up nicely for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
They just have to keep building on it.
Yeah, and the last one I like, they got, I think, the 56th round. They got Fotu out of Utah.
Yeah. In the fourth round.
I liked him on tape. He reminded me of what's the boy I play for? He played the Lions now. Danny Shelton. He kind of reminded me of him. Big, move around, and that 3-4. You need a run stopper.
He's gonna be a space eater.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely gonna be a space eater.
Yeah, especially dealing with Seattle and San Fran, who love to run the ball.
Oh yeah. You got to be able to take on two blockers and free those linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
So next team, the LA Rams. What you got?
Did they have an offseason?
I mean, yeah, if they had one, they definitely had one. I don't think they improved in the offseason. if that's the question you're asking for, not greatly, that's for sure. They lost Gurley, which was kind of to be expected.
And then they still can't pay him.
And they still can't pay him. As well as Clay Matthews as well, they need to still pay. Seems like they have some money issues, but
It went to that stadium.
Yeah. Eric Weddle retired. You lose Dante Fowler, which wasn't a huge loss, but I mean, like I said, you had to replace him, which they tried to fill that hole. I feel like with Leonard Floyd, it just they didn't really do much. Like I don't feel like they brought a lot in, even on in free agency. I mean, they brought Ashawn Robinson in to play defensive tackle. Which hopefully if he can help free up Aaron Donald even more, that would be great. But Aaron Donald's still automatically going to receive those double teams. But that's kind of really where it stopped. And I didn't really like their draft either. I mean, well, I'll take that back. They had an okay draft.
Yeah. I actually like the pickups of Leonard Floyd and Ashawn Robinson. I was looking earlier. They have 5 former first rounders on the defense. Ashawn Robinson, I really liked him a lot coming out of college. I never thought he really fit in Detroit. And then when Matt Patricia got there, you can discount everybody once he got there. And Leonard Floyd, I was kind of surprised to see that he got cut. I mean, I know he was on his 5th year, and it was a big part of it. But then to go out there and sign Robert Quinn to the deal they did, I thought it kind of gave him on too early. I do like what they did on defense.
I think the issue, with Leonard Floyd is, I believe he had 7 or 8 sacks his first year, his rookie year, and then after that he hasn't had more than 4.5. And last year I think he only had 3. So he hasn't really gotten that production. So it wasn't a surprise to not see them pick up, his fifth year option at the beginning of last year. And then when you're able to replace him with Robert Quinn, how Chicago was. It wasn't a surprise that kind of Chicago let him walk when they were able to kind of replace that kind of production, someone who had double-digit sacks last year, to go opposite of Khalil Mack. So he gets a fresh start now to go to a new team and to kind of start fresh. I really can't say it's going to be that much of a difference because Khalil Mack obviously receives a lot of attention. And now it's going to be the same as far as Aaron Donald. So it's not like he was kind of keyed on a ton in that in that system in Chicago. But we'll see if a fresh start. A new coach, a new position coach can get more out of him. But like you said, the Ashawn Robinson pickup was definitely nice. And the thing with the Rams is they're strapped for money. When you have Aaron Donald making what he's making, you got Jalen Ramsey, you're overpaying Jared Goff. Obviously you see them shipped out Brandon Cooks and they had to let all these guys go, but they're tight for money over there in LA.
Tight. They ain't got it. They can't pay nobody. So this might be a year where like they just like, all right, we gotta sit here and collect some dollars because Jalen Ramsey is on his last year of the deal. So yeah. And speaking on the draft, I do like some of the draft picks, like the Terrell Lewis pick. I thought that was a good pickup.
I thought the Terrell Lewis pick was good. I like the Van Jefferson pick as well.
Yeah, I really like Van Jefferson. I hate to say I couldn't see him at the Senior Bowl because he was having this dude runs some crazy routes. Like his route running game is sick, but I mean, he don't have that breakaway speed, but I really like him. The Cam Akers, I mean, it was okay. I was looking earlier, and I mean, granted, it's completely irrelevant, but you know, every running back they have when they roster is 5'11" and under.
Hey man, but that's kind of obvious. I guess he wants to run out there.
Yeah, but you know, my question is that because so much of the Rams' offense is predicated on the run game. Because you know Sean McVay comes from that Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan coaching tree, and they love to run the ball. And Jared Goff does really well off the play action. Will they get the same kind of production in this between these four backs that they did for Todd Gurley early in his career? Because last year Jared Goff struggled without Todd Gurley running the ball like the way he did. So that's the one thing I'm wondering like they're going to philosophy change and. Now, it'd be kind of hard with the offseason they're going to have now, you know, with everything limited. But is Sean McVay going to try to get more out of Jared Goff and not be his handicap?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Cam Akers, I think, you know, has the potential to have a real good career. I think he's better than what a lot of people probably realize since he was playing at a bad Florida State program right now. You know, he does have a lot of talent, so we'll see what they'll be able to do. You know, they drafted a running back last year, and Darrell Henderson out of Memphis, and you know, they already have was it Malcolm Brown? I think is their other running back.
Yeah, Malcolm Brown and Joshua Kelly.
Yeah, and John Kelly. So you have, like I said, it's going to be definitely a committee. We'll see who'll be able to get the bulk of the carries. But like I guess I think that's why adding the Van Jefferson pick was definitely huge because they're going to have to open up things on the outside. Tyler Higbee, you know, he had some games last year. If he can kind of become more consistent, you know, I think that can also help that offense.
And if Gerald Everett can stay on the field.
Yep, exactly.
He played well last year too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's transition to Seattle.
Whew. Seattle. I mean, you know, this is a team when you have the quarterback you have, you're always going to be in playoff contention. You know, running back was kind of a merry-go-round at the end of the season with all the injuries that they had. So they were able to bring in Carlos Hyde this year, which, you know, we'll see, like I said, to go along with Chris Carson and a Rashad Penny. And that's obviously a team that likes to run the ball a lot. So now you have three very capable running backs. And, you know, I think DK Metcalf last year showed a lot of promise. And it wouldn't be surprised to see him make, you know, another huge jump this year. So to kind of add all that run game, you know, with another quarterback, like you said, who can really, you know, really benefit off of that play action, and as well as utilizing his legs to open things up, to like I said, to get another running back there that can hopefully, you know, can stay healthy throughout the season will definitely be big.
Yeah, because Chris Carson's gonna miss some time at the beginning of the season, which is why Carlos Hyde, you know, decided to go there.
Yeah.
And two things I'm excited to see is DK Metcalf and Quandre Diggs with a full offseason in this system. Because Metcalf came on really strong down the stretch, and how I know because we played them twice. But yeah, he came on really strong down the stretch. You know, Quandre Diggs before he got traded, he was leader in the Detroit locker room, and so adding on that back end of that defense, I'm really excited to see. We play them. Hold on, let me not say I'm excited. We play Seattle.
Well, you'd be excited to see for the other 15 games.
Yeah. So that, and then the pickup of Greg Olsen was a solid move.
Yeah, the pickup of Greg Olsen was definitely a solid move. I mean, this is a team that, you know, I feel like has always kind of just missed that kind of tight end. You know, they tried to go the
Jimmy Graham.
They tried to go the Jimmy Graham route, but that trade never made sense to me. As much as I felt like they did need a tight end when they tried to acquire Jimmy Graham, to trade your center when you're a run dominant team for him kind of put them a step. They kind of went a step in the wrong direction, because now you're bringing in a tight end who can't block at all. And
but you have him blocking all the time,
and you have him as an inline blocker, and you get your center. So now like your point of attack is also it just didn't really make sense. They've gone the Luke Wilson routes and things like that. Just kind of anybody who can play, who can line up from the stands, kind of play tight end for us. And Russell Wilson has still been able to kind of find those guys and get those guys the ball and complete third downs or whatever. So now to get someone like Greg Olsen, who you're not relying on to be George Kittle, but you're just relying on someone to be reliable for you, is going to be huge. So I'm happy for Greg Olsen to be able to kind of land in a situation like Seattle, and for Russell Wilson to kind of be able to get kind of a tight end that I think he knows is going to be able to be up to speed very quickly, and to be where he needs to be on the field, and just someone he can rely on.
Yeah, and then don't forget about the development of Will Dissly. He did play well some games last year, so further development with him.
Yeah, they got Bruce Irvin back, but
that is right. Yeah.
So that's, you're bringing somebody back into the locker room who knows that culture, that defense, and we don't know how much he has left, but like I said, you're bringing him back there where I feel like he's comfortable at, and then but what I think they have to figure out what's going to happen is they traded for Quentin Dunbar, and Quentin Dunbar has some legal things going on at the moment. There was, I guess, a robbery at gunpoint him and another football player were a part of. A lot of those details really haven't come out yet. I know he's hired multiple lawyers to kind of fight that case, so we'll see how that proceeds going forward as well.
Yeah, I'm curious as he play, but if he does play, the combination of him, Shaq Griffin and Trey Flowers, I really do like that secondary. Like those two, and of course with Quandre Diggs and Bradley McDougal, who I've always liked. I think it's very underrated. I think that's good. Then they did add Jordan Brooks from Texas Tech in the first round. I don't watch a whole lot of Big 12 defense because it's really not much to watch. It's like playing Madden on rookie. But I mean, he did have a lot of tackles, and I heard a lot of buzz about him. I haven't watched extended.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely was a tackling machine. He was a decent pickup. He's their one guy who is going to come in and probably start right away for this team. We talked about tight ends earlier. They were able to grab another tight end in this draft, Kobe Parkinson from Stanford in the 4th round. So I think for him to be able to learn under Greg Olsen, even if it's just for 1 year, could be a help as he kind of gets up to speed. But kind of really from there, they were just it wasn't nothing that kind of wowed you. I mean, they were able to grab a guard from the champion LSU Tigers, and Damian Lewis in the 3rd round, who has out and has some potential, but I don't know that comes in and starts right away. So we'll have to see how some of these kind of picks develop, but nothing that kind of just like jumps off the paper and wows you.
Yeah, but also they didn't need to get a whole lot better at any position other than offensive line, but they did have some key injuries on the stretch last year. So they didn't need to get a whole lot better at any position last year. So I think they're more so leaning on development because their whole roster is, besides Russell Wilson, is really young.
Yeah, so I think the other main thing
chemistry at this point.
Yeah, I think the other main thing to kind of look at, what they are missing, and I don't know that they haven't replaced yet, but fortunately for them, I think they kind of remain the favorites as each day goes on, and that's your Davion Clowney. To have his production, defensive end, the way he kind of played both the run and the pass. Yes, his sack numbers were down last year, but we know he can get to the quarterback. His pressures were still high. And like I said, he can play that run game also. I think that he could very well land back in Seattle as we get closer and closer to camp. Maybe on a 1-year deal where he doesn't have to worry about learning another system. He can kind of just go right into play.
Yeah, very true. So yeah, it's interesting to see what they do. I think it's developing players right now. Seattle loves to develop players rather than just trading. They don't make a ton of trades.
No, they don't. But like I said, when you got a free agent there that you can sign and probably bring him in for a very affordable deal because obviously the market's not there for him. I like I said, they have to be among the favorites for Clowney.
Now, did they sign a DE? Like another defensive end? I feel like they signed somebody like just in case Clowney decided to come back.
I mean, not anybody. They signed Vincent
Bruce
Mayoa. Like they didn't really sign like somebody who you think is going to come in and be, a starter and that you can just kind of not worry about. They did draft Darrell Taylor out of Tennessee, edge defender, but
hey, that dude's nice. He now I don't know how he is against the run, but he flies the ball. He can get after the pass. I really like him.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, so we'll see, but I don't know, what they do to begin with. So I don't know if he's going. I don't know that he's going to be a starter right out the gate.
I need Clowney to go ahead and sign somewhere. I feel like we talk about him every episode.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy he's even still out there.
Yeah. All right, so San Fran, runner-ups. I think Kyle Shanahan might be having another nightmare. That's the second Super Bowl where somebody came back on him.
Yeah. The first one at 28-3, or being the OC at the time for the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, you thought maybe he would run the ball a little more, having that experience, and I mean between his play callings, Jimmy G, the defense, they just weren't able to protect that lead.
Yeah, I just don't get how in the NFC Championship, Jimmy Garoppolo throws 10 passes because they ran the ball so well, and they have the ball, and they don't run the ball so well. And the Chiefs aren't really good at stopping the run.
No, and you have a lead, so that's when you probably should run the ball. Not like you, and it wasn't like a one possession lead either. Where like, all right, you don't want to get too conservative. Like they were up.
People was thinking the game was over.
And you got 3 quarters and one possession in the fourth quarter of bad Kansas City football, which really doesn't happen. You're not getting three bad quarters from Pat Mahomes on the offensive side, and you got that plus a possession in the fourth quarter where he threw an early pick, and still down double digits, and then I think a third and long before he finds Tyreek Hill way down the field, to bust one open and kind of swing momentum and put him back in the game, and it's kind of history from there. We know the Chiefs go on and win. So we'll see what the mentality is going to be with a team. Like it's a lot of times that runner up doesn't really have a great year the following year. Now this team seems to has still a lot of pieces in place to be able to compete and have a solid season. And they did make a couple acquisitions to improve, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. This one, coming off that deflating loss,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, what we see how long it took to, I'm gonna say rebound, but like some of the Falcons had that cloud hangover they had for a couple seasons, but also like to trade like one of their stalwarts from DeForest Buckner. I thought that was crazy, and because he's been over the past couple years, he's been way more reliable than Eric Armstead did, who they just paid.
Right, but they pay Eric Armstead, and I mean, granted, you would have had to pay Buckner a little more, which you saw he got paid by the Colts, but to trade him, for a first-round draft pick and not give him that money when he just won defensive MVP for that.
But yeah,
for that
right.
team.
And not only that, Eric Armstead just showed up this year in his 5th year of his contract. And I thought that was crazy. So to do that, and then I mean, Joe Staley retired, who he's been there forever. I mean, they did replace him with Trent Williams, so they did get younger and faster, and Trent Williams is no slouch.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then there's so many questions with Jimmy Garoppolo. He got that big contract. We thought he was going to be something before he got hurt. When he first got traded, but now he just seems like a very average quarterback. They did pick up Javon Kinlaw, who might be he can't replace DeForest Buckner. However, there will be a lot more attention on Nick Bosa this next season, and then hopefully D4 can stay healthy for an entire season. So Kinlaw may not have as much attention as DeForest Buckner once commanded.
Right. At best, in 4 years, your hope is Kinlaw can be as good as the guy you traded away, and that's at best. And DeForest Buckner is really only going to get better. So like I said, so to let him go, to trade for him, to lose Emmanuel Sanders, and to kind of be sitting there with possibly a chance to grab one of those top wide receivers in the draft, and to not, I mean, obviously they were able to kind of come back later in the first round and draft a wide receiver out of Arizona State. But like I said, you basically replace you grab the same position of the player you just traded away, in hopes that he can be as good. And yes, it was a money situation, but to me, they played the wrong player.
Yeah. And then not only that, Eric Armstead only started playing well once they started moving to DN more and not D tackle. And so now they only have Javon Kinlaw on the inside. And so I keep stuttering because I keep getting confused with what they did, because not only that, they drafted Brandon Ayuk, who is almost the same player as Deebo Samuels. Like, they do the same exact thing. Now, I mean, you can look at it like they're complimenting Jimmy Garoppolo because he doesn't throw the ball down the field a lot, so they get a lot of people who can run after the catch. So I think
Emmanuel Sanders is kind of like is kind of that, plays that kind of same role as well. Being that slot guy a little bit. And a lot of them kind of run those crossing routes. They run those very kind of intermediate routes, try to get them into space type of players. So I mean, maybe that's what they're going for, but I don't know.
I mean, one thing is they do. I think Wes Welker is doing a really good job of wide receiver coach, because if you look at some people who were developing last year, I think they're probably get more out of Kendrick Bourne, who came out of nowhere last year and was playing really well. So I think that, and maybe they do some with Brandon Ayuk that Arizona State couldn't do. But also, and then of course they'll get a lot more out of Deebo Samuels. But of course, that offense is centered around George Kittle.
It's the passing game is definitely centered around George Kittle. Also the run game, because he's probably one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL right now. And like you mentioned before about McVay coming from that Shanahan tree. You have Shanahan here. They like to run the ball. And the news that actually just broke a little before we started recording this episode was the fact that Raheem Mostert right now is not happy with San Fran and has demanded to be traded. So what are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I don't think they really miss anything. Now he did play well in the playoffs, but it's like he progressed throughout the year. Before that, they were like they got all these different running backs. I mean, wait, hold up, never mind. They traded Matt Breida. Yeah, so it's only him and Tevin Coleman.
You still got Tevin Coleman, right?
And Tevin Coleman's a baller, but I feel like I'm missing somebody. I feel like they had like 4 running backs last year.
Jared McKinnon, maybe.
Well, he ain't played in 3 years.
Right, like I said, I mean, like he's on the roster. There's not really many more people. Like you said, I think you're really thinking of Breida, who would have been there.
Yeah, I was. Okay, yeah, that's who I was thinking about, Matt Breida. But I don't know, because I ain't had no time. I'm trying to go look before we start recording because but I feel like it might shoot. Honestly, they can trade him inside Devontae Freeman.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah, because
if they had to trade him, and you know what?
Both gonna play for Shanahan.
Lamar Miller's still out there.
Is he healthy?
I don't know, but if that's when you can bring it happen through the season, that's still someone that's still a capable running back when he is healthy. But like obviously Devontae Freeman is the best running back I feel like that is out there at the moment. But I mean, like I said, Tevin Coleman can definitely step into that. I feel like that spot in that system the way they run, and like you said, they won't miss much. But last year they were going from a 3-headed running back to a 2-headed running back, and now if you trade him, you definitely have to fill that void. But I'll also say that I don't think they trade him. I don't think they trade him because I don't know what the market is going to be for a team that's going to want to trade for a running back and also have to pay him.
Yeah,
when a lot of teams for the most part are pretty solid at running back. Could he be an upgrade, in certain places? Yes, but the running back is a position that there's value if you scout well. You can get good running backs in the draft. So is there a team that's really going to, jump up to trade for him and pay him, what he's asking for? And I don't even know what he's asking for.
Yeah, we don't know the market for him because we never seen a running back going in like and this weird predicament because he progressed throughout the season and it was like he got this crazy story about how he's been all over the league, practice squad, and then he leads them through the playoffs, and then he wants the contract extension, and now they're probably they lowball everybody when it comes to especially running backs. So yeah, I don't know the market is for him as far as trading. I don't know what they would have asked for. I don't see them getting anything higher than. I'm barely going to say a 3rd round. So I just, like
I said, unless you have a situation where a team, loses a running back early and are looking at him as, still sitting out or still being disgruntled, and now you have a contender that's looking to fill somebody into that role. But I don't know that any team right now is hearing this news and saying we got to go grab him right now. Good,
yeah, I mean,
talented. I just don't know that the market is there for running back, like you said, to trade and then pay. And like I said, what exactly is he asking for? I think that would determine.
I think that's the first. I think
that would determine if a team is going to jump or not.
Yeah, I think that's the first question. Well, first you got to contact so they can contact him, and then ask agent like, hey, all right, what you asking for?
What is he asking for?
Because San Francisco's not gonna get a lot back because a lot of times unless you got a high caliber player when you're about to trade for somebody, and they're in this contract year, you don't give away high draft picks. I mean, we talk about so much about Jadeveon Clowney. Look, they get went for 3rd and 5th pick. So I think it depends. But there's a lot of places in the league he can probably fit. But I mean, first thing coming to mind for me is the Bucks. But it does depend on what he's asking for.
Like I said, the Bucks came to mind as well for me, but then you have to wonder is San Fran willing to trade him within the conference to a team right now that is a lot of teams, a team that can probably make the Super Bowl and a team you got to face in the playoffs. So I don't know that's also a team that they're looking to trade him to. So I just wonder, with Brady there, how many teams will be able to, unless they're going to overpay, and I don't see a team doing that. But actually, you know what? If any team would, besides Houston and Bill O'Brien, but if any team would, it could be Tampa Bay for the simple fact that Brady's not there long. Bruce Arians may not be there long, and if they're looking to go all in, they could be the one team to say, all right, we'll pay what you're asking for because we got to strike now.
I just don't see where I mean, of course, if you ask for what you think you're worth, but I just don't see where a team would. I'm trying to think of a contract you can base it off of, like maybe like Matt Breida, like a Matt Breida contract, Matt Breida, Duke Johnson. That might be where it's at.
Yeah. So, like I said, we'll see. A lot of people just want to get paid We'll see those talks progress or not, and whether or not he's traded.
Yeah. All right. So who wins this division?
Who wins the division?
Who wins the division? Who won the offseason?
Who won the offseason for me was Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
That's just, they're like I mentioned before, I feel like they're really setting themselves up nicely, especially over the past 2 years, to get the quarterback that they wanted. You get it off the tackle, you get a wide receiver, you get the best defensive player in the draft, without having to move up for him. So just those moves alone put Arizona as the winners of the offseason for me. And winner of the division, I'm going Seattle. They have the best quarterback in the division. I trust him obviously because of that a lot more. And it's like I said, I think DK Metcalf is going to have a huge year. And I think their chemistry is going to evolve, and Metcalf, is going to creep up into top 5 realm, I think, when the year's all said and done.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna say Seattle won the offseason. They didn't do a whole lot, but when you don't have to improve on a whole lot, what do you really need to do? So that's for me. Granted, I loved everything Arizona did, but I feel like when it came to, I still feel like Seattle had the less holes to fill to everybody, and they filled some of them. But and then who wins the division? I do want to say Seattle. However, it's something about Larry Fitzgerald paired with DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray that's like,
yeah.
I don't know if I can bet against him right now. And if Kenny and Drake can build off what he did, and you just add DeAndre Hopkins to that, then he improved the defense. Chandler Jones doing what he did, and you got Isaiah Simmons back. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Cardinals to win the division.
Nice. I like it. They're going to be a young, exciting team to watch, but young besides Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, that really wraps up the NFC West. We're 3 divisions down, and South's done, North's done, West's done. All that's left right now, AFC East, NFC East. So those episodes will be coming in the near future. But Kamel, appreciate you.
All right, brother.
The next one.
All right.